The Local Government Act of 1988, introduced by Thatcher's government, had three main intentions: market efficiency, council restrictions, and ideological control. The most infamous and most impactful policy, of course, being Section 28. Section 28 aimed to ban the promotion of homosexuality from local authorities and specifically within schools.
The government is to ban the promotion of homosexuality.
Libraries even removed resources regarding LGBTQ themes in the attempt to stop the promotion of alternative family structures. Conservative governments not only wanted to ensure that local authorities was not spending any public money on LGBTQ resources, but they also wanted to foster an environment of uncertainty, an environment of fear. Thatcher famously said,
"Children who need to be taught to respect traditional moral values are being taught that they have an inalienable right to be gay. All of those children are being cheated of a sound start in life." Yes, cheated.
This was perpetuated due to the time period. We have to remember this is 1988, the height of the AIDS crisis.
All homosexual practice is an abomination and a perversion.
Gay men were already being alienated, dismissed, and abused within society. And this often led to a don't ask, don't tell environment. We know that Section 28 primarily focused on restricting LGBTQ youth within schools, but I wanted to better understand exactly what the attitudes and atmosphere was like for those in our community. I researched two different case studies, one being the first prominent openly gay footballer in Britain, Justin Fashanu, as well as the very first known account that we have of what Section 28 was like in schools. Jenny attended a state secondary school shortly after the section was introduced in 1988, and this was also where she first began to realise that she had romantic feelings towards women. But sadly, Jenny was not able to come out until her late 20s as a result of the hostile nature that was directly ingrained into her within school. Jenny recalls that the only time she would ever even hear the word gay is when it was used as insults by other students. Jenny also states that teachers would never bother to intervene or try to prevent bullying because they didn't want to be seen to be promoting the homosexual agenda. It must have been such a conflicting time for teachers because they're stuck in a rock, what's that saying? Rock in a hard place, they're caught in a rock. Stuck in a rock. On one hand, you want to keep your job, you need job security, you need money, money makes the world go round, but equally, morally, Jenny also recalls scouring the library for any material, even mentioning the word gay or lesbian, but it had all been removed. This led to her feeling like the only gay person in the world. I mean, think about it. You're isolated within a school where you're not allowed to talk about who you are or what you stand for or who you love. And you can't even go and educate yourself on things further because there's no material, no resources around you. I would feel so lost. But the biggest consequence towards Jenny and most of the other people that went to school during Section 28 was the long-lasting emotional and mental impacts. Jenny recalls feeling ashamed, isolated, and fearful. This silence ultimately led her and many other gay people to believe that being gay was something to be unspoken. It was something that you had to go through life and never ever mention or disclose. Hi guys, this is Editor Ben here, just to give a little side note. Whilst this is a personal account of somebody throughout Section 28, this account was initially anonymous. So I decided to give the name Jenny just so you could follow along a bit better. But if you're thinking that you've heard something related to Section 28 with the name Jenny, then there was actually a children's book called Jenny Lives with Eric and Martin. And without that book, Section 28 would never have happened, girl. It sparked a nationwide outrage and was plastered all over the Sun newspapers as being a vile book shown in schools. Now, this book was just about a 5-year-old girl who lived with her gay parents. Now, there is not too much information regarding this time period for Justin Fashanu, but we do have a few accounts and quotes from his niece, Amal Fashanu. She has spoken out in several interviews, including the 2012 British Gay Footballers documentary. She participated in this documentary in order to better understand why her uncle faced so much turmoil regarding his sexuality. She also detailed how much shame and guilt that Justin felt regarding his sexuality.
Coming out at the time he came out was probably not even difficult. The word is nearly impossible.
And although Amal herself was not born until 1988, meaning she wouldn't have gone to secondary school until the later few years that the section was still considered lawful, she still felt the long-lasting damage and impacts of the clause. So, just how did we get to 2003, where the section was finally repealed? Protests began as early as '87, before the section was even introduced. LGBTQ activists began to organise protests, leaflets and public meetings. This ultimately led to the largest UK march recorded in history by this date within Manchester. Over 20,000 people joined the protest. As well as Manchester, 15,000 people marched in London, including teachers, pupils and parents. Lesbian activists also famously swarmed the 6 o'clock news on the BBC, and let me tell you, those lesbians are my heroes. How iconic.
6 o'clock in the House of Lords, a vote is taking place now on a challenge to the poll tax. Tory rebels have said that the tax is
protesting about rights for lesbian and gay people.
We never got anywhere by just sitting around. Could you imagine that happening today? There was also another group of lesbians that abseiled into the House of Lords whilst there was a debate going on. Lesbians are the backbone of our community.
The House voted in favour of the government's bill which bans the promotion of homosexuality by local authorities. Some demonstrators were arrested and are being held overnight, but others who'd abseiled onto the floor of the House walked away free.
We waited till the vote went through so that in no way were we going to change anybody's mind. We did the respectable bit and sat in there and listened to it, and then they legislated against us, so we thought, well, we'll just shake them up a bit.
We love you, lesbians. Within this sort of time period of 88 to 89 as well, we see the formation of smaller LGBT groups. This was also when Stonewall UK was first launched, as a direct result of Section 28. The early 1990s, specifically 1990 to 97, saw a lot of cultural resistance. We see a surgence of LGBTQ characters being played on TV. Remember when EastEnders introduced Colin and Barry? Well, that one singular forehead kiss outraged a nation. People were calling it Bent-enders, East-benders. Can you believe a simple kiss on the forehead really outraged that many people? I'm sure the straights were sitting at home with boners so confused. There were also many council and teacher unions that absolutely refused to enforce the laws of Section 28. You go teachers. And pride marches even began to dramatically grow in size directly as a result of Section 28, and that being the main cause and focus for the prides. 1997 saw the end of the long Tory reign, and a Labour government was finally ushered in. This led to a lot of people putting pressure onto the government and the Labour Party specifically to repeal the section. In 1999, the House of Lords notably rejected the repeal of the section, and this led to even more nationwide outrage. This also led to a lot of celebrities like Ian McKellen and Elton John jumping on the cause and protesting for the ban of Section 28. Can the class please explain to me why Scotland is always the first country to do everything out of the UK? Like, why are we always so far behind Scotland? In the year 2000, Scotland is the first country in the UK to repeal the Section 28 clause. Yes, Scotland.
MSPs voted by a majority of 82 for the law to be changed.
Gay activists celebrated as Section 28 was finally scrapped in Scotland. Next step, they said, to persuade Westminster to follow suit.
And after 15 years of protesting, Section 28 was finally repealed in England and Wales in 2003. As a result, this led to schools finally rebuilding their initiatives in order to include all students from all sexualities. It's also worthy to note that Section 28 was finally repealed after the death of Baroness Young, somebody in the House of Lords that clearly wanted to keep a good gal down. But you can't. You did. This was repealed on the 18th of November 2003 after 15 long years of political upheaval and personal struggles. Let's just say we're glad that we never have to see anything like that again. Oh wait, what's happening in the media at the moment with trans people? We'll explore that on the next video.